All right. Well, then, hey guys, welcome to the community segment for. This is going to be for basically episode 700 and what are we on? 34? 734. Cool. So we started this last time. We're going to be answering community questions pulled from Discord, pulled from YouTube, and pulled from the comment section on 4playernetwork.com. We're going to be doing this during the pre-show each week, and we'll upload these on YouTube. So without further ado, I guess Chris Davis, you want to slap the first question we got up there? I believe it's from Haste.
Yep.
All right. Haste asks, out of all of your all-time favorite video game voice actors, which one, and only one, would you pick to hang out with for a day? And it doesn't count if they're prominent celebrity screen actors, too, so you can't pick Keanu Reeves or Kiefer Sutherland or anybody along those lines.
First off, you can't tell me who my friend is.
That's
friend
fair.
is my friend. But
also,
I'll go along.
No shade to Kiefer Sutherland, but would anybody pick Kiefer Sutherland as their favorite voice actor?
No way.
I think he's a pretty intense guy.
What do you mean, no shade to Kiefer Sutherland? Kiefer Sutherland sucks.
Does he suck? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
Like he sucks. Seems like he sucks. I don't like him.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just making sweeping generalizations about Kiefer
Sweeping
Sutherland
generalizations. Tonight. I have, there's nothing that Kiefer Sutherland can do to change my mind that he sucks.
What?
All right.
If Kiefer brought the reefer?
I mean, that would help. But he'd have to do that a lot.
So, okay, first of all, I hope nobody here... Who's going to pick Troy Baker?
I'm not going to pick Troy Baker. Troy Baker looks like one of those guys that's like, he's a really good actor and I respect his work. I bet he's kind of
a douche canoe?
Just, insufferable, right? Like, maybe not even like a bad person, but you're just like, dude, just shut up.
I'm going to go with... so, I'm going to be honest, I don't have like an encyclopedia of like voice actors in my head that I just pull from. But I would say Roger Clark, who does the voice of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, seems like a pretty cool dude, and when he talks, he just sounds like Arthur Morgan, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'd sit down in a saloon and have a beer with Arthur Morgan.
Okay.
Sorry, Roger Clark, aka Arthur Morgan.
Wow, that's like you got like a cameo from who was it? Sam Witwer.
Well, Sam Witwer's also an actor.
He's a screen actor.
He's prominently a screen actor.
He's a voice actor too. If Kiefer Sutherland's being considered, right?
Well, that's why that's why he was saying he's not.
He's saying you can't pick him or Keanu Reeves because
that's like in theory you couldn't pick Mark Hamill.
Is he really more famous? Like he's that much more famous for being a screen actor than he is for doing
Sam Witwer?
For sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
For
sure. He's done way more screen acting than
also he did acting for years before he did voice acting.
Yeah. Although I think that pendulum might be swinging in the other direction because he's been doing so much Star Wars work and he's obviously doing a lot of video games now, so I think the pendulum is slowly swinging that way, but I'd say right now, as of today, Sam Witwer is still more of a screen actor than a voice actor. But if that wasn't the case, I might change my answer. I mean, he was on Dexter. I feel like I would just kind of...
He was on Dexter. He was on Smallville, Nick. Come on, man.
No offense.
Your favorite show after Dexter.
Don't give a shit about Smallville as much as you think I do.
Yeah, I don't know. Like casting Kiefer Sutherland or Keanu Reeves in a video game is a stunt, right?
For sure.
They're just not voice actors. But like Sam Witwer strikes me as like what's that guy who plays Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob?
Oh, Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Yeah, where it's like he does just as much voice work as he does screen work, but like you can't say he's not a voice actor, you know?
Right.
Like I don't know.
I guess that's true.
I would have a beer with Clancy Brown.
I don't know why that is a good one. Clancy Brown would be a great
Clancy
one.
Brown. Yeah. And you know what? I would also pick him out of obligation because he too was on Dexter.
He was on Dexter.
Oh, he was on Dexter New Blood, Nick.
Oh, he's in the family. He's in the family now, huh?
Yes, he's in the family.
So I would go after the voice actor who was named after me, Nolan North.
There we go.
I always took
sitting in a bar.
Yeah, I always took a liking to him. Obviously, Uncharted was his like kind of breakout role. But even then, I was like, oh man, this guy's named Nolan too. I know a guy named Nolan, and I started like following his career and stuff like that because of it. But yeah, I think Oh, I mean, I guess so. Sure. Why not? I mean, I'm
A
named
couple
after him, but sure. I mean, I'm named
a
after
couple
him, but sure.
A couple quick interesting fact from our listeners on Twitch. Persuade says Kiefer Sutherland's grandpa is considered the father of Canada's public healthcare system.
That's really weird.
Nobody said David Hayter.
I mean,
Uh,
so
Yeah, I
David
don't
Hayter
think
would probably be my like a second choice. I
yeah,
mean, I
I
loved him in
mean,
Guyver. I mean, he's an actor though, so that's the problem.
David
So
Hayter's
Guyver too.
fine. My picks would either be Ashley Johnson or Laura Bailey.
I would
Yeah.
also say
yeah.
Ashley Johnson's
Dude,
an
I
actress
mean,
before she's a
honestly,
voice actor.
like Matt Mercer or like any like the Critical Role people.
Any
I'm
of the
not even
Critical
like
Role
a critical.
people.
I'm not a Critical Role fan, really. I mean, I like D&D, but I'm not a Critical Role fan. But they all do seem pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Matt Mercer seems really chill.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Prince of the Universe throws out Yuri Lowenthal.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Peter Parker, right in the Spooderman,
Right.
and obviously
Right.
various other things.
Yep. All right, let's go. Let's move on to second question.
Oh, you could
tonight.
say Ashley Birch,
Ashley
that's
Birch
it.
would be a good
Yeah.
but
one.
once again, is she an actress before a voice actor?
Shut up, Nolan. We're moving on.
That
Okay.
doesn't count.
Question 2 comes from Cracknecker. He says, "How have you found your gaming preferences have changed as you've become older? Are there certain genres you now prefer or don't have time for? Do you prefer gaming on one platform to another? Single player, multiplayer, etc., etc."
For me, it's
Drastically.
drastically for me too. I have switched from a lot of playing multiplayer online games to wanting just single player offline experiences, so I can just have my own time.
That is rather strange coming from a person who played 800 hours of The Division, but
I mean, I was
Are we
playing
saying
that
it's
solo.
drastically
I wasn't
changed?
playing that with other people.
I guess.
Well, that's just sad. Just kidding. That's fine. I agree, Chris Davis. I think I did used to play a lot more multiplayer games, and then I used to play a lot more like MMOs. Not MMOs. I've never really gotten MMOs. A lot more like RPGs, a lot more long, like sit down for like hours and hours. And I feel like more recently I've been picking up lots of like games that you can either play in quick bursts and have a satisfying like ending, like something like a Dome Keeper or Binding of Isaac, those kind of quick like FTL, like a session, and you can almost
Even
be
something like
done.
Hades, which is like you can do like
And
a run in Hades in like
for sure
15 minutes.
because it's more of a like as for an example, I never ended up finishing Persona 5. A couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I picked it back up. One of my friends did. So I pick it back up. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. And it's like, well, at what point do I restart this game? Because I'm so fucking lost in a game that I spent like 50 hours on, and I know there's at least another 50 to go. But I've forgotten characters, and so that's why like I've been. Don't get me wrong, I still like playing those types of games, and we talked about before the show, or I guess we're still before the show. But like Final Fantasy 16, that's definitely one I plan on picking up. But like lately, for me, it's just been a game that I can quickly sit down, play, and then just kind of move on, and not have to worry about like unless it's like a story-driven game that's like 12 hours. It's like a quick. I can honestly beat it in like 2 or 3 sittings.
Yeah, I found my kind of in the same vein. I've found my like the sweet spot, like the perfect game length for me has changed dramatically over the years. Like when I was younger, like it was all about playing the big JRPGs where I'd devote like 60 to 80 hours playing this one game or whatever. And now I'm like the perfect length game is either like in the 10-hour zone or in like on the high end 30 hours. If it goes beyond that, I have to like really be into it and like really be in love with it to want to sit beyond that to play it. Like Elden Ring obviously is a game that like is easy to love and like easy to just get totally swallowed up by, but like the next time an RPG comes out, if it goes beyond 30 hours, there's a good chance I'm going to be like, okay, we need to wrap this up, or I'm just going to put it down.
I mean, for me, length really isn't an issue.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Mainly because you heard it here first.
Yeah. I only play one game at a time, really. So I just focus on that. I can't bring myself to switch between games very often.
I totally tried to do that, Chris Davis. Let me tell you, I try to do that so hard. You know how many games I'm playing right now? And this is while I'm trying to actively only play one game at a time. I'm juggling 6 games right now. but I'm
You're
actively
fucking
trying to only play one at a
psycho.
time. I'm a psycho?
You're fucking psycho, Nick. Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't actually know.
You're playing 6 games at once, but you want to actively focus on one at a time.
Yeah, dude. That's why, like, I was
What?
like, I can finish Scorn, which I did. I was like, I can finish Scorn in like 7 hours. Like, that's the one I'm gonna focus on because I want to knock that off the list so I can be down to like 5 games that I'm focusing on. That's how my brain works. Um, Also, to get kind of back to the question, you know what's changed most dramatically for me over the years? I'm a PC gamer now, baby. I play games
Yeah.
on PC.
Damn.
I mean,
Sure does.
I'm console agnostic minus Xbox. I don't play Xbox because I have a
yeah.
PC.
Some guys, you know what's really sad about my Xbox? Like, I haven't turned the Xbox on in like well over a year, but like I don't know what it is, but something my Xbox turns itself on every once in a while. Like it just
And
you
just
hear
like
the noise,
screams. And just
yeah,
screams all night.
yeah. So it's like it's almost like it's sad. Like it's please play with me. And it's like turn me back on.
Oh.
Are you sure that wasn't? Never mind.
Yeah, my Xbox is a HBO machine.
Nice.
I understand that.
So
Half
it
the
gets
time
some
mine is a
work.
Netflix
You know,
machine.
I hope one day they put out a console that makes me look because like I was really
But
the
hey,
PS3
isn't that I mean, yeah, like you're saying, that's a huge change. Remember, like when 360 was the reigning god of consoles, and
Yeah.
PS3 looked kind of embarrassing in comparison. That's
Yeah.
right. I
Like the
fucking said
PS3
it.
had
I know
no
Brad's
games.
gonna have a problem with that, and you know what, Brad? You're not here to defend the PS3, so I get to say that the PS3 was a shitty console. Fuck that console.
So what I will say, Crispy, is back then I had both a PS3 and a 360, and back when it mattered, I would watch those videos. That was essentially which system does the game run better
Yeah,
on, and I would
right.
just get it on that system. Like
Yeah.
whichever one ran the game better, I just got it on that.
You want to hear what's crazy? I had both, and despite the fact that I had both, I didn't. I was like so. I'm gonna be honest. I was a bit of a PlayStation fanboy, even though I probably shouldn't have been for that generation of console. I would buy everything on PS3, regardless of whether it performed better on the Xbox or the PS3. Y'all remember that? This was back even during the podcast.
That
days.
was like the days where everything came out on Xbox and then got ported to PS3 and was like fucking broken.
Yeah. And now
That was
you
me.
can't play any of those games.
Guys, I played 007 Bloodstone on the PlayStation 3. I played The Bourne Conspiracy on the PlayStation 3.
You're
I
fucking
played
gross.
Dude, I could list off games I played on the PlayStation 3 that make you go, "What?" That's what I did.
He didn't play Mass Effect until it was on PS3.
I'm not that crazy. I'm definitely not that crazy, but yeah, it's the pendulum swings, and I do kind of hope it swings back one day, just to, when Microsoft is doing good, cool shit, like it's really cool, but they just haven't really been firing on all cylinders lately.
With the new Kinect for you.
Well, I mean, everyone's excited about that Game Pass.
Dude, I did play all the way through Scorn, and I'm gonna play all the way through A Plague Tale Requiem because of Game Pass. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I really wish we were talking about that tonight.
On PC.
I didn't even think of that.
Maybe. Crispy. Also, next week Signalis comes out, and I'm getting that on Steam.
What the fuck that is?
I'm playing that on Steam Deck, but so I'm gonna buy it on Steam. But man, if that doesn't matter to you.
Was the first Plague Tale on Game Pass?
Yeah,
I think they later added it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rats. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
All right,
dude,
and
Innocence is fucking great. Trust me.
Speaking of rats, our third question comes from the Drunken Merchant. He says, Amicia and Hugo's brother-sister relationship in A Plague Tale enhanced the experience dramatically for me because it reminded me of my sisters and I. Have you ever enjoyed a game more because it reminded you of a personal friendship or relationship?
That's a big one.
I feel like if the answer to that question is yes, one will probably immediately jump to your mind. I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong. But also, like, I feel like the most common example of that is probably going to be, like, maybe romantic relationships. I feel like, because I don't see a lot of really, I mean, I think Plague Tale has a great, like, brother-sister dynamic in it, but, like, I don't feel like there's a ton of games that have that kind of relationship.
Okay,
like,
You know what, though?
Brothers?
I can't think of anything that directly answers this question, so I apologize in advance. But I will say that my relationships with people have Oh yeah, no, maybe this does answer the question. Where it's like it's not necessarily because of the characters' relationships in the game, but it's like I'm friends with somebody who really likes this game, so it gives me like a more positive outlook on that game when I try it myself.
Right.
Like I'm not a big fan of, like for instance, I'm not a fan of Tekken or a fan of Silent Hill, but like when I think about them, I think about Brad or I think about you or I think about whatever the fuck Nolan plays.
Chris Davis is over here like, what about me, bitch?
Think about tanks and I think about anime girls with Chris
Blue
Davis.
reflection,
So
blue reflection, baby.
Every time I log onto Steam and it's trying to show me a bunch of like anime porn games, I'm like, man, Chris Davis would love that.
I should have never told you all about that. I came forward trying to be an honest person.
I'm sure you came
Oh,
forward.
fuck you, Nolan.
Hey, there's no shame. There's no shame.
There's a little bit of shame. There's a little bit of
I
shame.
played, dude. I straight up played that like porn horror game. What the fuck? Lust. I played Lust.
Actually, it is not even fair to really saddle that on Chris Davis's shoulders because if there's like a weird waifu Japanese game where you're like shoving sushi rolls up some girl's butt, like that's a Nolan thing.
That's a Nolan joint.
1,000%.
I like how I played.
Nolan took an
one-
already inappropriate game and like made it so much worse. Like, how did you do that?
I played one Senran Kagura game.
You
and
played
all of a sudden-
3.
Yeah, yeah.
I might have played 3.
Here's the funny
Uh,
thing. So I
There
mentioned
there are
Lust.
some things in life that are like that, Nolan.
I mentioned that game Lust that I played, and I found out about that game via Twitter, and I was like, oh, this is like a horror game. It kind of reminds me of like
Lust from
Amnesia or
Beyond
Silent
or
Hill.
whatever.
Yeah, Lust from Beyond. And I was like, this looks kind of like Amnesia or Resident Evil, but obviously it's like has kind of like a sex cult thing going on with it, right? So I was like, I want to play this. So I had to look it up, but I couldn't find it on Steam. I was like, oh wait, I have to turn off the not parental controls, but like you have to actually tell it to show you
Mhm.
anything above M rating.
Yep.
So I did that so I could find it in the store to buy it, and I was just too lazy to turn it off. So now when I open Steam, I'm like, what is the front
Yeah,
page
no.
of my Steam? Like
all of
there's
a sudden, the Steam library or
Yeah.
the Steam store like tripled in size.
there's
Yeah.
a whole world of Steam games out there that most people don't know exist.
Just
and
an
let me tell
entire
you,
sector of Steam where all the accounts are just people playing these weird porn games.
I
Yeah.
think the stat was like every year they're adding 8,000 new games to Steam, something like that.
and like half of that is porn games.
We're gonna talk about Scorn on the show tonight, right? Because
We
I
are
do have
gonna talk
questions
about
about
Scorn on
that.
the
Yeah.
And is it not just like kind of like Lust from Beyond? Like, isn't it really?
No, it's not. But we'll talk about it.
How many
So, yeah.
wieners are in it? There's wieners in that
Plenty.
game.
Plenty.
There's some wieners. Okay, we'll talk about
So
Scorn tonight.
Hold on, I didn't answer the question.
Okay, go for
so mine was kind of down the same vein as Crispy in that I think a lot of the games I don't necessarily think and maybe I'm just forgetting something, but like make me think of a relationship. But I think more about the relationships I have because of games or the games I choose to play because of relationships. A prime example, Gotham City Imposters. Myself and Crispy and Carlos played so much of that, and it was so much fun. Similarly with The Last of Us Factions,
Is that game
playing
still
it with
going?
Jaeger and
No, not
Shy.
at all. It hasn't been
Yeah.
going for years.
I think
it's
the
been
servers
they
are
shut it
dead.
down a while ago. Yeah, but yeah, so like myself being driven to play those games because of my friendships, and also being like, like now I'll, obviously we're older, we're all busy, so I'll often play stuff by myself. But I have vivid memories of being like, oh, I want to play this, but I don't want to play it with someone random. I want to play it with a friend, and so I want to like ping them and be like, hey, let's play this game. So much fun, and so that's the more relationships I think I have towards games.
Also, I find it funny. I didn't even think about it because I was like, he asked specifically about like brother. I was talking about I don't really relate with a lot of brother sister relationships, and I was like, well, that's because I don't have a brother or sister. Like, didn't even occur to me. So of course those games may not have struck the same chord with me as they might with other people. So that makes total sense.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna read this last question, but with the caveat that we are going to talk about this in the podcast tonight. So if no one wants to chime in on this,
We'll get
beforehand.
to it.
But we'll talk about it more in depth on the podcast, which we're going to record right after this. So Poltergeist, or TAC, I guess, in Discord.
It's TAC, yeah.
Poltergeist says, Deathverse, Let It Die, has suffered through a very rocky launch, and it's a pretty reasonable bet it's not long for this world. Do you think that given enough time, it could evolve into a successful PvP experience, or is it too flawed on a conceptual level?
Nope.
Wait, which one are you saying no to?
No to its
That it's going-
its entailing existence.
I mean, yeah, it's like there are much
so
better PvP games than that have gotten completely dumpstered.
for sure,
Yeah.
without a doubt. And yeah, we will talk about it later because that's the main game I'm going to talk about tonight because that's the only kind of like new-ish game I've played since our last podcast. But yeah, I have a lot of opinions on it. I have a lot of thoughts on how maybe they could extend its life and or actually make it better. But I think we'll talk about that on the show.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll use that as kind of the wrap up point here, guys. Again, we've started answering community questions at the pre-show before we actually start recording the podcast. So these will be you can watch these live, obviously on Twitch, or you can watch them after the fact. We're going to upload these on YouTube as a separate video. I will be checking the comment section for the podcast video and for this video to pull questions for next week and whatnot, and as well as Discord and the comment section on 4playernetwork.com. So if you have a question for a future show, get it in before the upcoming Thursday or the next Thursday when you're watching this, and we'll get it in on the show. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and cut it here, and then we're going to record the actual podcast, episode 734. So let's do it.